Battlefront 3. It's a game that would be a sequel to 2017's Battlefront 2 and the third installment in the modern Battlefront franchise. The entries in the franchise, developed mainly by DICE and published by EA, have received mixed reception, bringing along widespread criticisms throughout the larger gaming community, but praise and adoration from a fiercely loyal and passionate fan base. EA holds the exclusive right to publish HD Star Wars games until 2023. The controversial publisher first gained this license back in 2013 and has published Star Wars games every 2 years since. Going through the timeline, we can see that starting in 2015, Star Wars Battlefront was released. 2 years later, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was launched, and 2 years following that, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was released. Assuming the continuation of this trend, a new Star Wars game could be released in 2021. In an earnings call to investors, Blake Jorgensen, the CFO of EA, stated that there's some Star Wars stuff that might still drop in 22 or maybe even earlier, referring to the financial year 2022, which runs from April 2021 to March 2022. This lent strong credibility that another Star Wars game looks set to be released in November of 2021. Whether this game is EA Motive's rumored open Star Wars game or another entry into the Battlefront franchise is yet to be seen. Today I want to look at both reasons in favor of and arguments against this game being Battlefront 3. Let's take a look at why Battlefront 3 might come. Battlefront 2 is entering into its second year of live service, an impressive feat for DICE, who after the disastrous launch managed to salvage the game's reputation. This was done through a lot of hard work and determination that is extremely commendable. One must wonder then how much time they've poured into this game and when they will justifiably start looking towards ending content support and heading towards a well-deserved vacation. We know content based on the Rise of Skywalker is coming later this year, but after that it's all back to speculation. I don't think it's unreasonable to assume this content based on the last movie of the Skywalker saga might be the last bit of content for this now 2-year-old game. Both Sony and Microsoft have confirmed the new generation of consoles, namely the PS5 and Project Scarlet, are set to be released soon, around the end of 2020. EA would likely want to have a bombshell, long-living Star Wars game front and center on these new consoles to help embolden their brand. Battlefront 3 being, one would imagine, a live service game, as well as having the potential to finally be the entry in the series that captures fans of the original 2005 game, could very well serve this role. The reward, if this is the case, would far exceed any potential risk and thus is a likely move by EA. With the closing of the Skywalker saga, future Star Wars media will be free to explore any area and concept of the universe without the pressure to match it up with any ongoing projects. This would allow DICE to develop any concept without a mandate of which media it should be linked to. There would be no one at Lucasfilm pressuring them to deliver a certain kind of linked product, such as the notorious Han Solo DLC. Imagine DICE having full control over their game as well as having 3 complete movie sagas to pull ideas from. This would reinvigorate their passion and creativity. Passion and creativity best expressed in a new game, not shackled by the limitations they've set in place for Battlefront 2. Now let's take a look at why it may not come. Taking a look at the timeline of previous Battlefront games, Battlefront 2 was announced relatively close to the first game's release. As far as official communication goes, there's radio silence on the possibility of the third installment. The community managers have been quick to dismiss any rumors that the dev team isn't entirely focused on the current Battlefront 2. On the topic of community communication, Ben Walk, the community manager for all HD Star Wars games, recently shared his excitement for 2 pieces of unreleased content. The significance of this is that the last time Ben did this, the pieces of content were released a significant period of time apart from each other. This might very well be the case again, further solidifying the team's intent to focus on the current Battlefront rather than other games. The fact that the only information the rumor mill has is that a potential sequel is only at a whiteboard phase speaks volumes on how little anyone knows about Battlefront 3, which may be a strong sign that it isn't being worked on. I personally would love a Battlefront 3, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit disappointing there's no sign of a new game in the franchise. The benefits of having it as a launch title for the next generation, especially if they manage to convince the public that the game can live up to 2005's Battlefront, would be huge for EA. The bright side is that Battlefront 2 is still getting content updates, and a new Star Wars game is likely to come in November of 2021, so still exciting times. As for now, we can only speculate when the next game will be released.